Welcome home, brave heroes. I'm Ash, this is HeroQuest, and recently I was out and about scourging the local and not-so-local thrift stores. That's scavenging and foraging put together for board games, assets, and crafting materials, trying to figure out if I could find anything that would HeroQuest. Well, I did find two things in two different locations, one of which is Potions, a Wizard's Apprentice game, the game of mysterious ingredients by Discovery Bay Games, and, of course, the Indiana Jones DVD adventure game by Parker Brothers. I hesitated on both of these, one because of the price, the other because I thought it would really have nothing to do with board games, that it would be more of an interactive experience with your DVD player. Well, it turns out I was only 50% right with the Indiana Jones game, because this is actually a lay tiles down to explore a ruins as you go type of game. So we'll save that one for second, but we'll do Potions first, unboxing it. Quite a tall box, no fanfare as far as packaging goes, but a really nice presentation once you get into the box. This game was well loved and is secondhand. As such, it is missing its instructions, but no big deal. I don't actually want to play this game. As far as I understand, you have to, or it's best if I just read what it says in the back of the box, so we should do that first. Test your wizarding skills in Potions, the game of mysterious ingredients. Be the first apprentice to create the potion exactly as instructed by a roll of the potion dice. Watch out for other aspiring wizards. They will try to change the recipe, steal your ingredients, and spill your cauldron. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's go for this cracking re-unboxing. We've got all kinds of tiles. These tiles are double-sided. They simply say Potions. You can use these by giving them to your players at the table. There are a number of them. We've got cards. Each one is illustrated, easy to see from either side. These are the different ingredients that are in the game. Toe of frog, powder, love, drink, take, change, ointment, fenny snake, that's a very specific snake, spilled cauldron, lizard's leg, Merlin's ashes, holy crap, tooth of dog, wool of bat, transforming, eye of newt, and I think we've seen them all. Merlin's roll, wisdom. I think we've seen everything now. There's going to be a lot of doubles here. And that, for the cards, we have dice. The dice are pretty big. I think these are considered 20 dice. Yeah, these bad boys are pretty big. We've got 4 D6, and 2 of the faces on each are a single ingredient, so we've got a total of 3 different ingredients per die, and all 4 of the dice give you 3 different ingredients for a total of 12. So we've got our love and our wisdom, and I can't remember what that one was called. Transforming, that's what that was. Then whether it's a drink, an ointment, or a powder, then whether it uses the leg of lizard, the fenny snake, or wool of bat, eye of newt, toe of frog, or tooth of a dog. Finally, we have a cauldron, which comes with a lovely little pouch into which you can store your dice or your tokens. I'm not really sure what you put in here. It doesn't matter to me because I'm not going to use it because it is heavily branded. The cauldron, I suppose you could use if you wanted to use it for decoration, Halloween. It's just a cheap plastic cauldron, kind of squishy almost. All the game components can go in here, or you could definitely have it on your HeroQuest board if you needed a gigantic cauldron and a bunch of monsters dancing around it, talking about how excited they are to finally be eating halfling stew. So at this point in the Will It HeroQuest video, I've shown you the components. It's up to you to kind of decide what you could do with these, and so I'll just give some suggestions. Now, Rise of the Dread Moon introduced the alchemy table. You could absolutely have your heroes find alchemy ingredients throughout a dungeon and roll these dice to determine what it is that they find. You could put 1 die in each room pre-assigned, or you could just draw a die from the bag or the cauldron and roll it to determine what reagent they find. You could also have these cards be upside down and have the heroes pull from these cards to determine what reagent that they find. So we could pretty much use the mechanics that are in Potion almost verbatim in HeroQuest. You could roll these dice at the outset of a quest or when you're at an alchemy table to show the wizard what kind of alchemical concoction they can put together if only they can find these ingredients in the dungeon. And the entire time that you're in the dungeon, when the heroes are searching the rooms, you could pull from the potion deck. Now you could leave in these mechanically inclined cards or you could go ahead and take them out if you would rather they just find the reagents. You could also change the mechanics of these cards so that if they are pulled, instead of following the instructions on the card, they could signify other things happening with similar results. So like spilled cauldron, this means the recipe, whatever it is, it doesn't matter because the ingredients that are in the dungeon have gone bad. So this would be a very unlucky card to pull because it means that the little side quest that you're now attempting to complete is all for naught. But like as far as what this potion does and what it means to the players of the game, you can make this be the main quest of the game, or at least the scenario that you're playing. Find the alchemist's bench, roll the dice, see what you come up with, and now send the heroes into all of the rooms to try to get these specific ingredients, return back to the alchemical bench, and use them. And the challenge therein is going to be, whenever they go to a room, are they drawing from the treasure deck or from the potions deck? You, as Zargon, are going to have to figure that out. But if it was up to me, I would probably make a quest where all of the rooms only yield these potion cards, or I would have you draw from the treasure deck and the potions deck. So that way you're guaranteed a reagent of some kind, but you're also going to suffer the effects of any unlucky treasure card that you pull, such as a trap or a wandering monster. And there's also the chance that the heroes could get treasure while they're looking for alchemical components. You could also give the action search only for alchemical components to the wizard or the druid or whatever characters you want, perhaps all the characters. Perhaps there's an item in your dungeon that you can give to the heroes that will allow that hero or heroes to only search for alchemical reagents. And then they would only draw from the potions deck. So what do you think? You could use this as a side quest, you could use this as a main quest. And you could have each hero return with a different ingredient, and perhaps as long as they have something, if you've matched 2 out of the 4 or 3 out of the 4, you could still give them an item that would help them on their way, but it wouldn't be as potent as the item that they were trying to make. And of course, if they lose the wizard, they're not going to get access to any of this, although I would not ever limit the alchemical bench to just the wizard. I would absolutely give the druid and the warlock the same capabilities. The warlock, because for all intents and purposes, their equipment limitations count as the wizards, and the druid just because it's a magical type of class. Why not give them the ability to study the alchemical bench? Because if you've got a druid in your party, you may be less likely to have a wizard at the same time. I don't know. Some parties don't have wizards, and that's okay. I'd probably, actually, if you're not going to have a wizard in your party, make it so that your elf can absolutely study this bench as well. In my opinion, if you don't have a wizard, an elf, a warlock, or a druid in your party, well, you've decided to forego the ability to do anything alchemical. You've decided to just bonk your way through HeroQuest, and while that's certainly a valid option, I would say, yeah, Conan, you're not able to read the magical formulas that are in the Alchemist's bench. It should come as no surprise to you, Mr. Bonking Bonkerton. So I should have some sort of rating for stuff like this. I rate this perfectly HeroQuestable, although you won't use the box, you won't use the cauldron probably, you won't use the bag. You could use the tokens, but with the things being branded as they are, I wouldn't use them in my game. The card backs are branded as well, but I mean, the game is called Potions, so I guess that's really not that bad of a branding. It's just the Potions deck, you know? If you played it intelligently, you could make it alongside the Reagents deck instead of a replacement for it. Ash here with a word from this video sponsor. You're the sponsor. There's new benefits on the Patreon, and if you join the Mighty Hero tier now, you will gain access to a monthly quest designed by me exclusive to members of this tier and above. You'll have access to polls to be able to vote on upcoming content and have a special role for the Amalgam Archive Discord server. You'll be credited as a supporter at the end of every YouTube video I make, and finally gain access to heroic quests. That's a video game. All right, back to the video. All right, enough about that. We're moving on to the Indiana Jones DVD adventure game. Again, I almost skipped over this because I thought there's no way I'm picking up some DVD game. And to be completely honest with you, the only DVD players I have are my PlayStation 4 and my PlayStation 5, and I have not, as of now, put this DVD into either one of those to check out and see how it plays because I just don't care. But that's a shame. This is an awesome condition DVD. The game is actually not entirely playable without that functionality. Seems like a huge hassle, and that's the real reason why I haven't done it. There are a lot of points in the game where you've got to stop and consult the DVD, because there are menus in that DVD that allow you to undergo certain challenges, and these challenges and how to do them, how to complete them, are not explained anywhere in the printed material. So this was a result of some investors getting together at the boardroom meeting and saying, how can we make Indiana Jones print money in this wonderful year of 2008? And Hasbro was like, what's the latest in the technology? The DVDs. We want DVD. Make a DVD game. And they were like, oh, yeah. What if we made a game that used DVDs, the latest and greatest state-of-the-art technology that everybody's going to have in their house? This is going to pave the way for board games going forward. Everybody's going to come. We are trend setters. All right, that's what it sounds like when Ash rants. I apologize for that. This is quite a different beast than the Potions game. This, I don't have a good place to put this board, so we'll just kind of roll with it. We've got a tile that we lay down at the very beginning, and then we've got 4 actually really well done Indiana Jones miniatures. They're all the same character. It's just Indiana Jones, and it looks like he was supposed to have a whip. I don't know if he does. The pictures on the box indicate that he did not, but this just seems like a really bizarre choice. He looks like he's getting ready to do something, but he's forgotten what it was that he was going to do. This is just an odd pose to me. But anyways, you'll set your indies down on their squares, and you'll get ready to go on this grand adventure searching for these 3 relics. I've read through the setup for this game, but I've kind of forgotten what it entails, but it is a very easy setup. If only they had put the instructions on how to play without using the DVD into the manual, into the instructions, I think that this actually would have been a pretty neat game to play. But you also get an 8-sided die and the 3 treasures. And yes, of course, these 3 treasures would definitely HeroQuest. They're just miniatures of treasures. We've got yard sale clay cup that Karen's nephew made when he was going to pottery school. You're a potter wizard. Sack of larval eggs just waiting to hatch. And the incredible, priceless golden mustache. That's not really what they are, but I can't be bothered. We have 3 rock tiles, which I actually really appreciate. These would definitely HeroQuest. They go right on the board. Look at that. They have high visibility too, kind of no matter where you put them. Brilliant. Boulder traps is what those are. Boulder traps in the making. And then just a ton of these treasures that are supposed to be kept secret until the player gets them and flips them over to see what they've got. We've got skulls, we've got swords, we've got spiders, snakes. We've got tiles that represent all of these things that are used like wild cards. These are pretty important as far as completing the challenges on the DVD goes. And that's kind of where the rest of this comes in as well. These tiles are placed as your Indy Joneses are exploring. By the way, look at this box. Parts stored below. It's like a skull shape. Really cool. Don't know what the heck they mean by parts stored below. You don't really have a lot of room under this box to store the parts, so that's a dumb message. But also, like, why have the indent in the tray if you're just gonna say that they're stored below? Dumb. That's dumb. Yes, I'm complaining. I got a comment once about, you're wasting my time complaining about the box. Yes, I am. And you can waste mine by complaining in the comments below, but it's just dumb. It's confusing. Anyway, back to the actual video. We'll draw these tiles and we'll place them down around the board depending on where we're at, and there's skulls on the map to indicate that Indy is going to engage in combat. There are also letters on these tiles. As you go through the corridors, you'll notice that there are letters up here. These letters cannot be interacted with right now. We've also got really cool motifs here, like snake pits and things like that. And it's never the same game twice, because as you draw from the stack of tiles, you'll have all of these different configurations going on. And sometimes you'll end up creating dead ends, and also, actually, it looks like for the most part, you won't create any dead ends at all. They're all either crosses or T's, so that's interesting. Oh no, there's a corridor. There's a straight corridor. I'm not sure if it'll let you though create dead ends. But I mean, if you do, you know, the predictable thing is you won't be able to cross over because there's a wall there now. We've got stairs, we've got chalices, we've got all this imagery baked into the tiles. And honestly, other than the letters, I don't like that stuff. I could probably do without the letters as well, but they do serve a really cool purpose here, so I have to give them a pass. Look at this. Look at this spike traps coming out of the wall tile. That's really cool. I like to see that. But it goes on like this until the players find the treasures. This chalice is baked on here because that's where that treasure goes. The player has to have these two things to either complete the challenge or even start the challenge. I can't remember, it doesn't matter. But then they can get that chalice. And then our 3 golden rocks, whatever they are, we've discovered those go there. And then we've got 1 tile left for the golden mustache. So we'll just flip through. Look at this. This is awesome. Curved hall. I love it. It doesn't just take a left turn. It actually curves around, and that's really cool to see. You could do this with multiple tiles. There's multiple ones that curve around. Oh, I uncovered the golden mustache like a long time ago. It's up here. It's up here. So once the indies have discovered these and have claimed the treasures for themselves on the board, it's time for this temple to start coming down. It starts falling apart. And that, my friends, is where the letters come into play. The Indiana Joneses have to return back to the starting squares, no matter where they are in the dungeon. They have to make their way back now because this place is falling apart. And they'll roll the dice, and they'll move, and they'll try their darndest to make it back before they are caught in the destruction, because the tiles are going to start disappearing from the board one by one. Actually, not one by one. You'll start with all of the tiles that say the letter A. And my friends, here's our A. Here is our A. These disappear off the board. And this continues with the B tiles in the next round. Here's the board with the B tiles removed. The C tiles are going next, and then that's this one and this one. And you kind of get the idea. You can see where this is going. Eventually, all of the tiles, except for the main room itself, are going to come down and be disappeared from the game. So anyway, will this HeroQuest? Yeah, these tiles will definitely serve a purpose in a HeroQuest game that goes off the board, that becomes modular. And they do follow a lovely 1-inch standard. They actually fit in very nicely within the confines of the 1-inch grid of the HeroQuest board. These are perfectly sized tiles. They're perfectly sized tiles for contemporary HeroQuest. So you've got yourself a whole stack of dungeon tiles that follow a very specific theme, and it would be extremely remiss of me not to mention this, but you could use these with the upcoming jungles of Delthrak. There is a huge jungle aesthetic here. It's just that there's a lot of symbology baked into the tile, which I'm never a fan of. You've got the skull here. What's the skull mean? It's got to mean something, right? And every time you play this tile, somebody's going to ask, ooh, what's the skull? I land on the skull. I search the room. I search the skull. I interact with the skull. Maybe the skull is nothing, Tom. Maybe it doesn't do anything at all. Maybe this is where you put your monsters, though. Like your wandering monster of the quest, when you put that tile down, a monster is on this tile. Maybe you actually don't lay the tiles down one at a time, a la Warhammer Quest, if you're going to use these with HeroQuest. Maybe you'll go ahead and draw a random tile from the stack, and then you'll place it down, and you'll keep placing tiles as far as the line of sight of the hero would be. So like with this one, if we placed it, which I think is the correct way, which is the T way, it would be nothing. It would stop here. We wouldn't place it any more down. But if we were placing it this way, we would continue placing until the hero couldn't see anymore, which would be here if I were going to place that tile like that, because that's where your line of sight ends. Then you'd place down all your applicable monsters, and that's how you would reveal the enemies of the quest. Just like in classic HeroQuest, you open a door, you step through, your line of sight changes, and now any monsters, furniture, and the like are placed down the board. This would be a really cool way to do that. So, was it worth the $4 I paid for it? Yeah, absolutely worth the $4 I paid. Will I actually use this in my HeroQuest games? I don't know. I will definitely be taking inspiration from these, and these are really good materials to have. So I'll probably do some playing around with these and seeing if I can come up with other ideas. These tokens could definitely be used as well. You've got all kinds of options for the tokens here. You could use these as different currencies. Got some skull coin, bros. Skull coin is going to spike here in the next 6 weeks. I watch a YouTuber who's never been wrong before about crypto. Spider coin is going to go up too. Yeah, I've heard. And then we just got to wait for this to go up, bros. And then it's Diamond Hands time. Then we can all retire and move off onto our own private islands. Ooh, snake coin. Don't invest in snake coin though. That one's about to crash. The investors are going to file for bankruptcy. Before we go, we're going to check out the cards. This is one of the more useful parts of this, but they're branded on the back. They say Indiana Jones. If you're the type who uses card sleeves, you could put these in those sleeves and add them to your treasure deck, but they're actually really cool. Look at this. Torch. Add 3 to any move. Very simple. Would you use this in your game? I would. Absolutely. It's on brand. It's thematic. It makes sense. Your heroes would have a torch. And you don't have to use this card. You can just take the inspiration from it and go make your own homebrew card with this image and text on it for personal use. The Staff of Ra. Take 2 gold coins face down from the coin pile. Rope. Play before moving. You can pass over trap spaces without stopping. The rope would be a really great item to have in normal HeroQuest. A discard card. Actually, I think these were just like on the sheet. They weren't meant to be used in the game. They've even got like the serial numbers on them. Trance, very unsettling eyeball. Move another player up to 6 spaces. Ignore special spaces. It is worth repeating that this game is a competitive game, not a cooperative one. So you are trying to kind of screw your friends out of getting the treasure before you do. Minecart, instead of rolling the die, move to any space in the temple. Knife, add 2 to your roll in battle. Fedora hat, re-roll the die on your move or during a challenge. You must use this roll. Snake trap, play when another adventurer lands on a trap. They cannot complete the challenge. If they have gold coins, steal one from them face down. Dynamite, place a new boulder anywhere in the temple, and if all boulders are in play, choose one to move. The idol, take 4 gold coins face down from the coin pile. Diamond, take 1 medallion from the pile, the medallions being the multi-purpose ones. Map, before laying a new temple tile, look at the top 5 tiles and choose one. Put the rest back in any order. Voodoo doll, steal 2 gold coins face down from another adventurer. Whip, add 3 to your roll in battle. And it is, of course, an invisible whip. Indiana Jones can't see it. He has no idea what he's whipping. Lighter, add 2 to your move. The replacement for the torch. The skeleton key, unlock any relic chamber without using gold coins. The machete, add 1 to your roll in battle. The pistol, add 4 to your roll in battle. I know. Some of these you're not going to be able to use with your game, and that makes sense. Compass, successfully use a secret passageway. Do not go to the DVD. That is one of the funniest descriptions for an item card I've ever seen. Do not go to the DVD. And Storm Lantern, add 4 to any move. Obviously, you won't want to use all of these cards with your game, but you could use some of them. And all it takes is a little bit of visual or textual tinkering to make them all viable for your game of HeroQuest. So anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. Have you learned anything? Have you been inspired to do anything differently? Let me know in the comments below. I would appreciate any and all ideas you've come up with. Until next time, brave heroes, onward.